You're listening to the We Are Libertarians podcast network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com. Thank you for listening to the We Are Libertarians network. Get our other shows at wearelibertarians.com. Our next guest, or our next presenter for the training session, is Rex Bell. Rex is one of our most successful candidates in the Libertarian Party, period. Not just Indiana, the party. Rex does a great job of organizing Wayne County and motivating people to work for his campaign, getting good press, and getting good results. For the first time in 85 years, a third party got above 20% in a three-way race for the Indiana House, and that was Rex Bell in House District 54. So we've invited Rex here to share some of his wisdom about campaigning and how he works his magic. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rex Bell.
Well, I don't really have any magic. I've always thought it was kind of odd to ask a libertarian to advise you on how to get elected, because, we just don't get elected very much. We have gained some ground, and simply some of the things I do, and I'm sure everybody here is going to discuss that. Anybody that's doing any type of presentation, of course, direct mail is always one of the old standbys. Radio is an old standby. TV is an old standby, and all of that takes money. And if you've ever campaigned as a libertarian, you know how hard it is to raise money as a libertarian. So what I've tried to do, and have been moderately successful as a candidate, is free media. I've got some different things that I brought in that I wanted to show you, just as an example. If I can find them now. That's not the right one. We had an ad for this meeting today. That's it, right there. That was $144. That's what happens when you have to pay for advertising. When we put out a press release, we get this sort of thing. We put out a press release about our county convention. We got a front page this size and all of this that was free. We had, if I can find the News Examiner. This was in a Connorsville paper. I sent out a press release. It went to 17 different papers. I don't know how many published it, but we had a color picture on the third page, and you remember the piece that cost $144 was about half this size. This was free. So I encourage every candidate, and I've seen it happening with who could possibly be my opponent in the 6th District race. Don Bates from Winchester, he's turning out, every time his dog farts, he makes a press release out of it, and some newspaper somewhere picks it up. It hadn't always been as easy, although we've been blessed in Wayne County, Henry County. We've had fairly decent coverage. But this year, having a celebrity on the ticket, we're starting to find out how valuable that is to us. If you're doing something, and I'm recommending it to all of my candidates, if you say Mark Brim, who is on the ticket with Rupert Bonham, on the Libertarian ticket with Rupert Bonham for District 56, and Rupert Bonham run for government, put his name in there. You're going to come near getting picked up, but the press loves him. As my wife said, I don't understand it. As Rupert said, I don't understand it either, but it's the way it is. We need to take advantage of that. It's unbelievable the amount of free publicity we're going to get this year. But the only way we're going to get it is to send it out, ask for it. Do press releases. As Paul and Joyce talk, don't get discouraged if they don't run it every time, because every paper you send it out to is not going to run it. But there's thousands of dollars worth of free publicity out there if we just take advantage of it. One other thing that we do a lot of, that we've done before, is our canvassing door to door. The smaller races, of course, have a better shot at that. When my wife Susan ran for a judge in Hagerstown, she knocked on every door in Hagerstown and asked people for their vote. I'm convinced that the door to door is the best, most effective, or I would say not the most effective, but is the surest way of getting a vote, just to ask them to vote for you. On the bigger campaigns, of course, you can't do that. But with a team, the next best thing to asking somebody for their vote is to have somebody you know ask them for their vote. I've had several people say you're the first person that ever asked me to vote for them. That brings out something. So personal contact, when you can do it, when you can't go door to door, the booths at the fairs, the parades, get out and walk, shake their hands, making contact with people, has worked for us. I know where I'm known, where I live, those are the precincts we win. We won 8 precincts in the last election. Those precincts are where we live, or where our family lives, or where we spent 7 nights at the Moreland Fair, and we won Blue River Township. We won that. We won Liberty Township, where I was raised. So I don't think you can discount personal contact. I don't think you can replace it. Certainly the Republicans and Democrats are going to have millions of dollars to spend where we don't, and we're going to have to replace those dollars. And one other thing, probably the last thing I think we need to remember, is that we can't get elected with Libertarian votes. We've got to have Republicans and Democrats voting for us depending on the district we're in. I always try to promote Libertarian ideas, but you don't want to run down other people. You can't run down other people and then ask them to vote for you. That's just been There's no need to call them Republicrats. There's no need to come up with some cutesy name that you think is going to insult them. We don't want to insult them. We want to bring them around to our way of thinking. Certainly point out where the other parties are wrong, but I don't think we can call people names and then expect them to vote for us. I think we have to be respectful. Most people were raised as Republicans or Democrats. And that is basically all that I have to put forth. My whole mantra has been be nice. I think that'll get you farther than running people down. I don't know whether there's anybody's got any questions or not. I think Chris is wanting to get up here and say something, and I suppose Jeremiah is wanting to get up here and say something.
I have some questions for you.
Oh.
I'm running as a state representative.
Yeah.
And I'm curious as to how you make your decisions as to what the limited funds that you're able to raise, what's most important for you to spend when you are going to spend money. I know you've done billboards in the past, you've done yard signs. If you were to assess the money you spent in your state representative campaigns, what do you think was the best value for you?
We had more feedback on billboards than anything else. And in a state representative race, especially in District 54, they're affordable. I don't think there's any one thing you can do that's better, that will replace anything else. But we got a lot of exposure for $1,200 We've got a lot of exposure in District 54. That gave us four billboards a month, and we ran them for a couple months. And I heard, like I said, I heard a lot of comments from those, so I know people were noticing them. I'm not sure that if you put a billboard up and not do anything else, it would have worked. But that's a good way to get a lot of people to see your name, and a lot of it's name recognition for people.
And you spread that across some campaigns. It wasn't just a billboard for Rex Bell. It was Rex Bell and the Libertarians running in the area.
When and that was something that we were able to do before that I won't be able to do this year because of the federal and state type of thing. But yeah, we in every campaign we've had our county candidates, anybody that was in Wayne County, and we try to. We couldn't really cross over with Henry County, in fairness to the Wayne County Libertarians, but the people that, if they lived in Henry County but they were on a Wayne County ballot, we certainly did that. And I think it gave us probably some credibility, part of being a real party, because that's what the big boys were doing, and that's what we were doing, so I think it worked out.
Right. It occurs to me what you just said about not being able to share billboard space. There might be a way to solve that. I have to check with Todd Sinker and Rutherford, but if the state party buys those billboards and the money comes up to the state party from the local candidate, I don't see any reason why the state party couldn't buy billboards for all of it.
And I'm not convinced the county party can't do it.
I bet the county party has to be federal FEC committee now.
There's
$5,000.
Yeah, there's a limit,
Yeah.
And as long as you're under the 5,000, I was trying to, it was certainly off topic, but when I'm trying to make sure I've got everything done, and I pulled up the FEC paper for state, federal candidates, and it's 196 pages, and I made it through 12 pages, and then I sat back and said, now let me review in my mind what I just read, and I have no idea what I just read. It's they certainly tried to discourage it, but I believe that as long as the Wayne County party spends less than $5,000 on those, they could still do that and have us sharing a billboard. But the Wayne County party will spend more than $5,000, so I've got to come up with some idea how we can keep it separated and not make trouble.
If I'm wrong, Chris, we buy joints and the state party buys billboards that will state candidates
Yes.
out of our federal account, so they can move money up to the state from their own campaigns. This is a general contribution.
No, the two campaigns cannot give to an FEC committee for that purpose. Now, if they happen to donate,
Right. Yeah, just a
And
general
then-
donation.
totally separate from that, we happen to buy a billboard for our candidates, then that's legal.
Absolutely.
It's about it.
Happenstance is an amazing thing.
We just happen to like those two candidates, and we had some experiment.
Right. But it's not typically done because it is very, you gotta know what you're doing.
That's the thing about it. It just looked to me like reading through it. They've got rules in there to trip people up and discourage people. I mean, that's what it's all about, is discouraging people, and so we want to do that. I hate to put anybody through having to be called up in front. I've been called up in front of the SEC, but I don't want to be called up in front of the FEC.
All right, let's take a break, and then when we come back, I will talk about some tools for a good campaign.
Tip two.
Just to let you know, Rex, there is a tool tax. So if anybody knows,
You've already taxed me.